The Normandy landings were the landing operations and associated airborne operations on June 6. 1944, the Allied invasion of Normandy in Operation Overlord during the Second World War. It is the largest seaborne invasion in history. The operation began the liberation of France and the rest of Western Europe, and laid the foundations of the Allied victory on the Western Front. The invasion began shortly after midnight on the morning of June 6 with extensive aerial and naval bombardment, as well as an airborne assault. The landing of 24,000 American, British, and Canadian airborne troops. The early morning aerial assault was soon followed by Allied amphibious landings on the coast of France. The target 50-mile stretch of the Normandy coast was divided into 5 sectors: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Strong winds blew the landing craft east of their intended positions, particularly at Utah and Omaha. The men landed under heavy fire from gun emplacements overlooking the beaches, and the shore was mined and covered with obstacles such as wooden stakes, metal tripods, and barbed wire, making the work of the beach clearing teams difficult and dangerous. The highest number of casualties was at Omaha, with its high cliffs. At Gold, Juno, and Sword, several fortified towns were cleared in house-to-house fighting, and 2 major gun emplacements at Gold were disabled using specialized tanks. The Allies were able to establish beachheads at each of the 5 landing sites on the first day, but Corentin, St. Lo, and Bayou remained in German hands. Cannes, a major objective, was not captured until July 21st. Only 2 of the beaches, Juno and Gold, were linked on the first day, and all 5 beachheads were not connected until June 12th. German casualties on D-Day have been estimated at 4,000 to 9,000 men. Allied casualties...
Then, with part of their training finished, they left the United States. Late in the winter and all through the spring, the great convoys moved eastward across the Atlantic. Aboard all the transports, life was the same. The troops relaxed and waited for the voyage to end. All along the coasts of Great Britain that spring, the training went on. Navy and Coast Guard landing barges practiced landing operations day and night. Meanwhile, the larger landing craft, LSTs and LCIs, carried on their maneuvers, learning to land at a given spot at a certain time. Through all the days of preparation, Allied planes, thousands of them, continued to soften enemy defenses and communications in daily raids. Off the southern coast of England, thousands of ships from all Allied nations are preparing for the invasion signal. Navy and Coast Guard crews make last-minute preparations. When the K-rations come aboard, everyone knows that D-Day is drawing near. Somewhere in southern England, troops embark on LCVPs to be ferried to the waiting transports offshore. June 5th. The LCIs are loaded. The next time these men step ashore will be on an enemy beach. There's only a little time left to relax. And the bombing attacks of the Air Force are intensified. Now the raids are continuous. At ports of embarkation, the troops prepare themselves for their greatest battle. Coast Guard officer briefs his men, and all along the coast, sailors receive their final instructions. At last, the ships leave the coastal waters and move out into the channel. The slow LSTs loaded with heavy equipment, the transports loaded with men. Study the maps that mark the invasion beachheads on the coast of Normandy. Some of the landing barges are stopped by concrete obstacles built far out in the water by the enemy. Offshore, the larger landing craft approach the beachhead slowly. Out of enemy firing range, the LSTs wait to move in until the beaches are cleared. The arrival of motorized equipment marks the end of the first phase of the landing. The LCIs, their first loads of men now on the beaches, go out to the transports to ferry more troops inshore. Soldiers captured in France wait until someone has time to evacuate them. Out in the channel, the rescue boats of the Coast Guard are looking for survivors and aiding damaged vessels. And the hospital ships are waiting for the wounded. From a damaged Coast Guard LCI, a wounded man is transferred to another ship. The life-saving blood plasma goes with him. Another Coast Guard manned LCI, badly crippled, could not reach the shore, and its wounded are removed. The beach is firmly in Allied hands now, and the vast extent of the operation is visible. Silent evidence of the fierce battle is apparent everywhere. But in a few days, many of the damaged ships will be afloat again. Beachhead and drop mines offshore. Out of sunken block ships, artificial harbors have been built. Until a port is won from the enemy, these must handle all Allied shipping. Bad weather came after the fighting on the beaches was over. The heavy storm left a trail of damaged ships. Once again, the landing barges moved out into the channel, this time loaded with German prisoners. In England, prisoners board a Coast Guard transport. And ships which have carried thousands of American soldiers overseas now return westward with a different cargo, with men who were beaten and captured in Normandy.